going. All right. New week. Just excited to play again. Get it to come back home. We haven't been here for a couple weeks, and another good opportunity for our team. I think looking back on last week, we got some things we got to get better at. Like I said after the game, you're always gonna enjoy a win, and that's the ultimate goal. But we can play better, and I think that's the focus that we had yesterday when we came in, and really was just critical of the film, and our players have that attitude, and I think that we can tighten some things up, and we're going to have to do that if we want to win this week. So I know that you guys are going to want to look at Missouri State's record. I think when you put on their film, they're a good football team that's continuing to play hard. They have a lot of good football players. I think they're playing at a high level on defense. I think when you turn on the North Dakota State film, South Dakota State, it's 14-0 in the third quarter. North Dakota State only puts up 22 points against them, and they're a good football team. I think that offensively, anytime you play a quarterback that can run the football like Peyton can, and it makes you work. So we got to continue to. I think teams have stopped them from running the football. I think that's got to be our focus, is that's been every week in this league. If you can stop a team or can get a team to be one-dimensional, obviously that's your goal, and then you can put pressure on the quarterback. But we got to have a great week of practice, and excited to play.
Okay, I'll ask it. What's happening in pregame to get all these injuries? Is it just an accident, or what happened to those two guys?
Yeah, this is the only week we've ever had that since I've been here. So, just the kicker hurt his quad, and Nigel hurt his hamstring. So, some of that could do with just staying hydrated. Last week was really the first cool week that we've had all week, and harping on it and talking on it, as far as you gotta, even when you don't feel like you have to hydrate, you gotta hydrate at a high level. You gotta take care of your body. You gotta be getting rest. We've talked about that for a few weeks, that the healthiest team down this stretch is usually a team that plays well, and some of that's not just injuries. That's feeling well. That's not getting sick when people are getting sick. That's taking care of and making sure you're rested up. And I don't know if that's the reason or not, or that just happened, but Nico stepped up, had a heck of a game. Told him that. He was the player of the week obviously on special teams, but really the player of the week for our game, just mentally being ready. And that last kick, that's a big time kick, 35 yards. It was kind of a swirling wind, and not an easy kick at all, and made it to go up 2 scores.
You've been a great short yardage team. Why do you think or I guess what did you look at when you looked at the film again? Did you feel like you missed a block, or did you feel like you want to call a different play? I guess the short yardage in the first half.
You mean at the goal line?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that Craig got in on the quarterback sneak. Pretty much whole body is in, but we had to snap it again. There really wasn't a good angle to review it, at how we've talked about that sometimes, the camera angles, but had to line up and do it again. And Z doesn't get around on the pool. If Z gets around on the pool, then it's we got a better shot at getting that, but he gets clipped off. They did a good job, and we just didn't get it in. So we had 4 opportunities in the red zone. We kicked 3 field goals, which obviously we needed. And then once we didn't get it in from the 1, and then we had a false start at the 1 where we were going to go for it again. So some missed opportunities down there that we got to look at and we got to get better from.
You mentioned their defense. Their linebackers seem to be their best players.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen them? They don't seem to blitz a ton either.
Yeah, they'll bring some pressures. They're quick to get to the football. They're the same guys as last year. They've always had good linebackers. I was hoping some of them would graduate. They're good players. They really are. They can run. They'll hit you. They do a good job. They really do on defense. They've played really well, and so or we've just got to execute. I think that's what, it's coaches talk and you get up here, but that's what it comes down to. The third and shorts, the throwing and catching. We had a couple missed opportunities in the throw game on Saturday where it just comes down to the fundamental things that we've got to do at a high level if we want to keep winning.
Do you think you'll be ranked this week? Should you be ranked?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not for sure. Obviously there's coaches poll and media poll, so you guys get to vote on that. I don't think that it has any bearing on what we do this week, other than just being in the top 25. If we don't win this week, then we won't be in it. But if we keep winning, you get recognized for that kind of stuff. I think our focus is on winning this game and getting to 6-4, and if we keep winning, you keep getting to play. So I guess that comes with it. But we haven't talked any about that, so I'm not sure if we will or not.
You talked about the passing game, a couple drops. Did you feel like Correct put him in a good position to catch the ball, and just he's not going to have those?
Yeah, I mean that's what I said. I mean to Landon and to Cox. I mean they know they got to catch the ball. It's kind of like when you're a quarterback and you throw it behind the guy and the coach tells you to put it out in front. I mean you know where you got to put it, and you want those guys want to catch the football, and they had a couple drops, and so we said we're going to throw it to them again this week. So and expect them to catch it. But yeah, a couple third downs where we could stay on the field and keep going. We weren't able to do that. Even on the first little crossing route that we had to Cox, he bobbled it and then went down, and we had like a 12-yard gain. But last week that went for a 60-yard touchdown because he really has one man to beat going full speed, and he's been known to make that guy miss, or it's going to be a big play, but he kind of bobbles it and then trips and goes down for 12 yards. So just some opportunities like that we didn't capitalize on, and like I told him, it's nice to be able to find a way to win when you don't play at your best, and but we're going to have to play at our best if we want to keep winning.
Your offensive line did a great job with the rushing yards. You picked up a lot of yards on the ground. Think you can do that against Missouri State?
Well, I mean that's the goal every week, is to be able to run the football and commit to running the football, and we've said that time and time again. I think that to win in November, to win in this league, you got to be able to run the football. Teams make it tough on you to do that. Indiana State did a good job. I mean, a lot of times we were running into tough boxes with 7 guys down there, and DJ makes you look good sometimes. I think our backs do a good job of running through contact and making yards after contact. So I think the offensive line did a good job, and so did the back. So we got to keep doing that, and we got to stay balanced, but we're going to definitely run the football.
Is Javon using Javon to throw the ball, is that something that you want to get done eventually, and is eventually right now, or do you see that next year?
Yeah, I mean it's always in the plan. I mean you always have things on the game plan that you just don't, whatever the game calls for, you don't get to, or whatever the circumstances are. We've talked about that. Javon's a capable thrower. It's not like a wildcat guy that you're just going to try to throw a pop pass to or something. I mean, he might have the strongest arm on our team. Not just saying that. I mean, he can accurately throw the football down the field and do some things. And teams start to load the box. You're going to have to do some of that and give our guys a chance on the outside. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously we have that in our package and can get to it. And as teams continue to scheme us in different ways, we saw a couple different ways. Indiana State did a good job of adjusting a couple times to what we did, and it makes it tough when you get 8-9 guys down in there. You're going to have to throw it at some point.
How much freedom does your quarterback have to, if he sees something after you call the play from the sideline, change it a little bit to a different thing?
We don't check a ton of plays. I mean, we might go into the game with a couple looks that we're gonna give them the freedom to check, in or out of some good looks, or get a run to a certain look, or get it out of an overloaded side. We did that on a couple times at Indiana State, but you don't see many teams these days, especially if you're going to play at any type of pace or tempo. You're not going to check a lot of plays. They're not combo plays with pass and run and those type of things. You might have a couple on the card that you're able to, but we don't do a ton of that.
Your defense has come up with some big turnovers. What is Petrino done behind the scenes do you feel like that they've just responded to so well this year?
I mean, I think Coach Petrino's done an outstanding job, that entire defensive staff. Turnovers come when you're in the right position, you're playing with great technique, and I mean, every team, I tell our guys that. I mean, the keys of the game win the turnover battle. I mean, every Division I coach, Division II coach is going to sit in front of their team and tell them that, on Friday night or Saturday morning before the game, like, hey, boys, we got to win the turnover battle. Turnovers come when you're playing hard. You're in the right spot when you get to the ball carrier, like you saw on Saturday when Bryson and Chin are in the right spot, and you get there with a little bit of violence to you. I mean, that's what you got to do. You got to hit the ball carrier. You got to be in the right spot. You've seen us, strip the football, Quay a couple times. All the fundamental drills that you do in training camp, and you do, as soon as you get out on the field at practice, and you see us in our bonus periods, and you're stripping the ball, and you're working on those little things. The great teams that carry over those fundamentals to the game, I think they show up. And then when your eyes are in the right spot, like Quay's interception, as a wildcat, you knew that they probably had some type of pop pass in, or where he was going to try to throw it, and Quay didn't bite on it. I mean, his eyes were on the right person. If you're in man, that's your man, no matter who's back there at quarterback, and made a great play on the ball. And I think that's what our defensive guys have bought into, is just doing your job, and your eyes got to be in the right spot. Your technique has to be great. Don't try to do somebody else's job. They're going to make that play. Trust your teammates that they're going to make that play, and we've been able to get some turnovers here of late.
Did you use Chin in a bunch of different sets, a bunch of different positions more so? Was that the first time you've done that? How did that look?
Yeah, moved him around a little bit. You saw him play a little bit in the nickel. Just with Trey being gone, he had played some of that. So as the season goes on and your injuries, with Trey being out, we move some guys around. What PJ does the best when he's in those packages and things. And so, like we've said before, I mean, Jeremy's such a smart player. You feel good with being able to go in a week and put some things in, and he's going to execute at a high level. Some players, younger players, if you haven't done much of that previous and you ask him to do that out in the game with the lights on, and he might bust something. So we'll be able to move Jeremy around as the season here continues to try to get him around the football. Brought him on a couple pressures that didn't get home on Saturday, but he was around the football a little bit more. And anytime you can have two around the football, good things are going to happen.
Pros want to see that too.
I think they think that just looking forward. I don't think they ever say, like, we want to see him do that. I think looking forward, you could see him being that type of guy at the next level. Just the versatility that he has in the secondary, I think that's what gets everybody excited. He's such a big guy, I mean, he's 215 pounds and probably could carry a little bit more. So when he can cover, he can hit, he can get around the line of scrimmage, especially in this day and age in the NFL with some spread teams coming. You can put him in the nickel. You can blitz him. So the more you can do, obviously, the better. And I think that they've obviously got to see him do a lot of things. I mean, you haven't watch him play. I mean, he's got the block that springs Javon on the punt return. So he's out there playing special teams and doing a good job. And that's what it just gets you excited about the team that you have. I mean, comes back from an injury, and last week, I mean, he's down there on the off day in Coach Jared Petrino's office, no, I want back on special teams, I want back on punt, I want on punt block, and so he just likes to play football, and he's good at doing a little bit of everything.
Question, email, man. With the 3-game winning streak and the playoff conversation, what's the biggest difference you've noticed among the players compared to previous November?
Previous Novembers, I mean, I think that we've always, we went into this game last year with one win, and we went down there and played hard and got a win. And so I think that we've always had the effort. I think that obviously when you're playing for something, about play, this is why you were voted on. The same opportunity, walking in and doing your job at a high level and getting other people to meet those standards. And if they're not, you got to get them to do that. So I think, the experience that these guys have had, a lot of them have played a lot of football, with us. And so I think their experience is definitely helping right now.
What do you think the best thing you've seen out of Lyles in the last few weeks? Because you guys have run the ball well. Obviously, his passing stats are not huge, but just kind of just not making the big mistake and just you see a calmness to him that you didn't see a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I met with Cray yesterday and told him the same thing. I mean, obviously you look at. I told him go pull up my stats or Joel's stats in some of these games. You played 8 or 9 games. Nobody remembers that. Nobody's going to remember how many yards you passed for at Indiana State in 2019. They're going to remember you won and you were the quarterback that was on a winning streak or can lead your team to the playoffs or win a conference championship. That's what they remember. They remember you making the big plays, you taking care of the football, and so I think that's what our team needs. There's going to be a game where he's going to have to pass for 300 yards, and we feel like we're capable of doing that and have the skilled players and the weapons to do that. But I think he's graded out the past 2 weeks at a high level as far as playing winning football, as far as the decisions he's making, where he's going with the football. Like we said, those stats can look a lot different. He was, on target. I think we had him on target 70% out of his 16 throws, which is where you want to be. And so we've got to make some plays around him, which we've been doing, and we really probably didn't even, we didn't protect on the one, the second, and I think it was from the 4, the second goal from the 4 down there late where we ended up we took the sack and then had to kick the field goal. Is Jacob Garrett's wide open in the corner of the end zone. It was a little pick play, and he's wide open. We just didn't protect it right, and that wasn't Romir was on that, and like I told him, that was the first time we really have ran that protection, and that's just as on us as coaches it is Romir is. They kind of gave it too off of an edge, and he cut the outside guy. The inside guy came free. If he cuts the inside guy, we got time to get it to Jacob. But little things like that, and it would look different on the stat sheet. He's just got to keep playing winning football. Can't get caught up in any of that. It's your number one stat as a quarterback is winning.
Bryce Notree's a really good player, but have you talked about redshirting him, taking the medical redshirt?
Well, it's kind of a medical redshirt. He's already redshirted, so if you've already redshirted, most of the time. If in our experiences, unless you have 2 season-ending injuries because of injury, then you usually don't get a 6-year of eligibility. So if you redshirted and were healthy, and then you lose one because of injury, those waivers have usually got denied. Connor Lima, a couple others didn't get a 6-year when they went at it. Israel Lamprak has had 2 season-ending injuries. He got a 6th year. So. Right now he would have 3 games to play and still be able to technically redshirt in this new rule. So the medical redshirt is it's a different deal, and you don't apply for it until your career's over anyways. So you don't know if you're going to get a medical redshirt until, for him, it would be after next year. So it's hard to say, so we're expecting Bryce to be, had a little hiccup last week, but was probably a good thing, just some scar tissue things that it's going to take a little bit as far as getting back. So he jogged yesterday at practice again, and we'll give it another run here this week, see how he's feeling.
I'm sorry, what did you say about Kilby and your place kicker? Are they going to be able to play soon?
Kilby possibly this week, yeah. I mean, he didn't, he had one last year and missed a couple games. It's not as bad as that, so we'll see how he progresses. Today's their day off, so we don't see him. And then Griffin, I would say, is probably out for this week, but isn't season-ending type.
Who took Kilby?
Played a couple guys. Levi Mitchell, he came here, walked on, and then Cole Stewart played.
Appreciate it, Coach.
All right, appreciate it.